Welcome back, everyone, to episode 19 of the Fitness Fundamentals podcast. One away from 20, very close.
Let's go.
Today, our topic is maturing in the gym is realizing that blank. So, I brought three topics. Jared brought three topics. We're going to bounce off ideas. I love this one. This is a really fun topic. Is some of them are like hot takes, but also it's knowledge that I think it's really useful for both of us who are already experienced in our own fitness journeys and also coaching others. Do you want to get us started?
Yeah. My first one, maturing in the gym is realizing that training to failure is necessary, in parentheses, sometimes. So I'm really big on this. You have to find what failure looks like for certain muscle groups. What does it feel like? And that way, when you're training, you could truly hit those 2 reps in reserve to make sure that you're building muscle.
Yeah, it's not even like training to failure is that much special because like a lot of the research says that you can be 1 to 2 reps shy of failure, meaning you don't have to reach that failure point. However, you have to know what that failure point is in order to know what that 1 to 2 reps shy means.
Yep. And I always love telling clients, as soon as you start shaking, that's like when the all the growth can happen. And to push through it, a lot of people, let's say they're doing bench press, for example, they shake a little bit on a rep, and then they're like, "Oh, I need to rack that immediately." You got to keep pushing through in a safe environment, um, at least one time to failure, and so that way you know what you have in the tank once that shaking starts to happen.
Yeah, and if the exercise is safe, sometimes like if it's supported, I would tell the client that you can try to do as much reps as you can. And usually it'll surprise themselves. Most people can probably do like double the amount of reps that they thought that they can do, that they predicted, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, even if you're experienced, I would still say you got to have those days where you kind of have to dig deep, find that failure point.
for sure, definitely. And another thing I like from Mike Israel is myo rep matching. So let's
Yeah.
say you do one set, you'll do one set as many reps as you can. Let's say that's 20 reps. On your second set, you're going to get 20 reps again, but you could take as many breaks as you need to get to those 20 reps. And if you truly work to failure on that second set, you're going to work to failure. Let's say it's like 12 reps, take a little break, get to 18, take a second, and bust out those last two. And that style of training drives so much muscle stimulus and grows the muscle.
Yeah. Since we're on this topic, you want to talk a little bit about like different training methods, like what you just said, like mile rep match. There's also like a rep pause. What's the difference between rep pause and mile rep match? Do you know?
Are you just talking on pausing in the stretch position?
Or just like what do you call it? Pause, is it called pause sets? I forgot what the term is, but it's basically similar to mile rep match, but you have like a specific allotted time to rest in between each set. So like for example, you do 10 reps of an exercise, you rest 30 seconds and do the next 10. And then for the next set, you might be matching the same rest pause, scheme.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean
yeah,
both are
for
great.
sure.
Both are great techniques to help you get towards failure. How about drop sets?
Drop. I was just literally going to
Yeah.
talk about drop sets. So that's one of my favorite things to do. You approach failure with a heavy weight, lower the weight, and approach failure again. And you think that you're done, but when you lower the weight, you're able to do more reps. So I just showed one of our new trainers a full range of motion lateral raise drop set all the way to where you have your pinkies up and you're going like that. And his shoulders were cooked.
Yeah. One more thing I want to mention too is a mechanical drop set. So that's
Yeah.
when, let's say, the easiest way to explain this is different type of curl variations. For example, the hardest is a reverse curl, a little bit easier, just normal curl, and then the easiest for most people is a hammer curl, right? So what you would do is go to failure on a reverse curl, and because you're stronger doing a regular curl, you'll do a regular curl next until failure, and then you're the strongest on a hammer curl, so you'll finish off that mechanical drop set with hammer curls.
Okay, so it's a mechanical drop set is like similar movements, but they slightly contrast.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's a much more technical way of explaining it, maybe it's called a mechanical drop set. I think it is, but it's just
Mhm.
a way to basically train similar muscles with the same movement pattern. So I'm still doing a curl, but I'm alternating my wrist position to make it easier as I keep the same weight. But because my muscles are already fatigued, I change the position of my wrist to make it easier.
I see. I see. That makes sense.
Yeah, like one more
And
thing. Sorry, one more
go
thing
ahead.
is like a pull up, right? Maybe you do like 8 reps on a regular grip pull up, and
Yeah.
then because chin ups are typically easier, at least for me, I can still knock out probably like 3 or 4 reps of chin ups. I probably
Yeah.
can't do the same for pull ups though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. What is your first one?
Yeah. So our next one is maturing in the gym is realizing that you can train when you're tired.
Ooh, what do you mean? What kind of tired are you talking about?
I think in general, we are just becoming too soft. It could be just from the feedback that we're getting from gadgets. It could be we see that our sleep score is 60 out of 100, and we'll be like, okay, I'm gonna skip training for today just because my sleep score is 60 or 70. But no, I think our human body is capable of pushing through a lot more than we realize, right? I
Mhm.
realized this firsthand. Yesterday, I was at it's kind of off topic, but I was at a runners lab event, where there was a speaker panel, and one of them was a ultra runner. And
Wow.
so ultra runners, to put in perspective, a marathon is like 26 miles, which is a load. These guys, they run 50 to 100 to 200 miles, and they know how to train. Like their brain is wired to push past pain, to push past the limits of what normal people think is they're capable of doing. So I think just reaching some point that even when you're fatigued, even when you don't feel like going to the gym, even when your nutrition is maybe not down, maybe you're traveling, you have jet lag, I think there's still a time and a place to work out.
Yeah, I agree. What was it like? And did you get a new perspective from hearing that from that panel about the ultra marathon runners?
Yeah, I think it just made me realize how much our bodies are capable of handling. Even though like ultra marathons, they're not like technically healthy, like physiologically, like our bodies are not designed to run 100 200 miles like David Goggins. However, I do think that everyone can benefit some sorts of pushing to a limit where they feel fatigued and tired, going back to that first point of failure training.
Yeah, definitely. And um, especially for someone who's busy and they only have like a certain amount of time, and then if you get to that time and you're feeling really tired, that's your time to push through because you know you're not going to get another session in the week.
Yeah.
Um, I had a client today. She came in, she was like, I got 2 hours of sleep. So you just dial back the session a little bit, get through it, do something. And she said by the end of it that she felt better than when she first came in.
And I don't want people to misinterpret this. Like, it doesn't mean you have to go 100% every single day,
Mm-hmm.
as long as you show up. That's the key.
Yep. You just got to give your 100% for that day.
Exactly. All right. What's your next topic?
All right. Maturing in the gym is realizing that you need to train new forms or new styles of training. So, I mean, I'm also speaking to this to myself because I need to and want to learn new styles of training. But it's really good because you got to be cognizant and aware of all the different modalities and different forms of training. There's so many different ways our body adapts, and your body will adapt to the load and stress that you put on it. And if you do the same style of training for years and years, you're probably going to hit a plateau. And switching up your style of training could be a real breakthrough for a lot of people.
Yeah. What are some examples that you've experienced recently of maybe previously you were always hyper focused on this one style and then you recently switched to a different style? What's an example
Mm.
that you have in your own training?
The biggest thing for me was I did a lot of hypertrophy focused training, and then I started training for a high rocks. So high rocks is different movements than probably not quite hypertrophy focused, um, more so muscle endurance, and then also adding running to my routine. And I shedded like a ton of body fat once I switched from hypertrophy style training to that more of a hybrid style. So in recent time, that was like my biggest switch and difference.
Yeah. How would you recommend someone, an average person, approach this? Let's say they were just like you, they've been lifting consistently 5 days a week, focusing on hypertrophy, maybe not too much cardio, and they want to transition to running or high rocks or some kind of endurance event. Like, would you just slap on another endurance program on top of your hypertrophy program? How would you like program for that person?
Yeah, number one would be mindset needs to be start slow, especially if you're not running.
Yeah,
And you were a big help in that for me is you were just telling me just get out and move for a
yeah,
little bit. Go out for like 20 minutes. Like keep it simple. So first maybe month if you're actually doing it properly and giving yourself enough time before your event, just start really slow. Maybe if you're doing 3 hypertrophy days, maybe swap one of those days for a hybrid day where you do some weight training, a little bit of cardio. After about a month of that, you throw in a run here and there. As you get comfortable, then you could start being more sports specific and looking at maybe the High Rocks events, lots of walking lunges, rope pulls, sled pushes, doing stuff like that. So start introducing the movements that you're going to see in competition, and then mimic the competition as you get comfortable with the movement. So do like the ski erg into the distance run that you need to do, 100 meters or 1,000 meters in the event. So actually introduce what you're going to be feeling, what you're going to experience in the event. So that's how I'd approach it.
yeah. I totally agree with you. I think one thing that really resonated is you've got to build that aerobic base first before you kind of specialize, right? You
Hmm.
can't just jump straight into like only doing skier or only doing rower. Before you start specializing in these different events in the high rocks, you got to build an aerobic base. And to do that, you just got to start slow, like what you said, and slowly build up.
Yeah.
Is it your turn or my turn?
Your turn.
My turn. All right. Maturing in the gym is realizing that your nutrition and recovery matter just as much as your training. And so when I look at fitness, I think of it as three pillars: training, nutrition, recovery. So the main thing
Mm.
for training is, obviously a good program, but also staying consistent and training hard. Main thing for recovery is good sleep. And then nutrition obviously is ingesting enough food and high quality foods. So these three pillars, they're pretty much equally important, right? If let's say you train hard, you eat well, but you only sleep an hour a day, like obviously you're not going to see that much potential in growth, right? But if you sleep good, if you eat good, but you never train or you don't train hard, you're not going to see any growth, right?
Yeah.
So you get the idea there. I think it's just having a good balance between the three. Sometimes
Mm.
maybe you can specialize in one of them when you really feel like dialing one pillar because we can't be a master of all trades. But however, as you get further and further into your fitness industry, into your fitness journey, you want to eventually try to create that balance between the three.
That's incredible. Very
Yeah.
well said. That's as straightforward as it gets.
Yeah, it's very
Um,
straightforward. I mean, even just fitness in general, right? That's the three pillars I always tell people.
Add that. That's fitness fundamental.
Exactly. Yeah.
The 3 pillars. Love that.
Three pillars. Yeah. Next one.
All right. My next one is maturing in the gym is realizing that your body isn't fragile. I see a lot of people that have some aches and pains and they avoid the gym. But we had the great Maurizio on,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I'd rather you hurt yourself at the gym than sit on your ass at home." And that was like really eye opening for me because the health effects of sitting and being sedentary are far worse than a little shoulder pain, or a knee pain. Your body isn't fragile because it responds to the demands that you put on it. I believe that's Wolff's Law, if I
Wolff's
remember
law,
correctly.
yeah, that's Wolff's law is also like the said principle, specific adaptations to impose demands. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So whatever demands you put on your body will eventually adapt and adjust and become stronger. Bones will become more dense. If you're struggling with pain, it's important to still work out in a safe environment, working on supporting muscle groups with whatever pain that you have to help alleviate that pain. Yeah, I think a lot of times, especially with older clients, sometimes we could be a little bit too soft on them, but they have they have big goals that like directly affect their life outside of the gym. So it's really important to push them in a safe environment to help create that adaptation, to help them move better, feel better, look better.
By the time this podcast release, I think I might have already posted a post on this, but essentially the topic is you have to be strong enough to hurt yourself.
Speak more on that.
Yeah, so let's say I have this elite powerlifter and he's doing a one rep max on a squat, no warm up, let's say, right? He just comes in cold, it's 50 degrees outside, comes in cold, lifting 1,000 pounds off the ground, right? He's strong enough to hurt himself. Like that guy is gonna pull something. Or let's say we make that guy do a full out 100% max sprint. Like he's gonna pull a hamstring.
Yeah.
But like for the average person, like I don't think we have the strength to really injure ourselves. We're not incapable of carrying the amount of load and the amount of force, the amount of ground reaction forces necessary to, you know, tear a hamstring or tear an Achilles. But of course, there's like, you know, specific events for like that kind of injuries, but like still, you have to be strong enough to hurt yourself. What are your thoughts on
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, I agree. Like you got to put yourself in a position to maybe you're a little nervous and you got to overcome an obstacle like um a box jump. A lot of people are like they really get in their heads on a box jump. And all it is commitment. So I think that's a good example of you have to push past, um, or you have to even give yourself an opportunity to get hurt in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, for a new gym goer, like I don't think you really have to fear any weights that you're lifting because that 20-pound dumbbell is not gonna hurt you. Just plain
Right,
and
right.
simple. Plain and simple.
Even going up in weight isn't going to hurt you either. Like
Yeah.
so many people are like, "Oh, I only ever use 20 pounds. I don't have any weights at home that are more." I'm like, "Great, we're doing 30 today."
Exactly. Yeah. There's always ways of making the intensity higher, whether that's increasing the amount of weight, slowing down the tempo, increasing the amount of sets, increasing the amount of reps. There's so many ways, even though you're limited in the amount of weight that you have. So,
For sure. Definitely.
all right, my next topic. Microdosing is better than an all or nothing approach. So when I refer to microdosing, I mean like, getting small workouts in when you only have 15 minutes, maybe grabbing a quick and healthy meal in the morning before work when you don't have much time, rather than going to, I don't know, a Chick-fil-A and getting a fried chicken sandwich, right? The little things build up and stack up over time to help you achieve the goals that you want.
I love this one. And I get pretty busy at work and in just like everything that I do. So literally at work, if my client's running 5 minutes late, I'm gonna get some kind of stretch in. I'm gonna get a little pump in, and it's like still finding little gaps of time to prioritize your health.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can speak on that a little more. Like, let's say we're both trainers, but obviously you train full time and way more than I do. Like,
Mm.
can trainers, because your schedule is so packed, like you don't really have an hour to yourself to work out, how would you approach those little gaps between clients to structure your own
Mm.
workouts? What kind of exercises would you choose? Like how would you structure that?
Yeah, for sure. So, um, what I would do is focus on big muscle groups. So you got, I don't know, 5 minutes between a client, bust out a really hard set of incline dumbbell bench press, or do a really heavy set of dumbbell rows. So that's two easy things for upper body. Another thing you could do is pull ups. I'm sure you got a bar in the gym. Just hop on the bar and start doing pull ups. Um, Outside of that, focusing on legs, you could easily hop in a Smith machine, start doing squats. You could easily You probably have a barbell laying around. You could easily start doing some squats with the barbell. Um, and then another thing you could do is RDLs, whether that's barbell RDLs or dumbbell RDLs. Those are all big, huge muscle groups, and you really just need like a 1 minute really hard, heavy set to push your body and like start making those little micro dosing forms of training.
Yeah, I like how you said that because the reason why I put this for my topic is because you don't need that much to stimulate um, the the adaptations that you want, right? So like
Hmm.
just a set here and there is totally fine, even though you only have a few minutes to do a couple sets. But I also want to talk a little bit about the kind of the dangers of an all or nothing approach because that's something that I have experienced when I first
Mm,
started.
yeah,
I needed everything to be perfect. I mean, that's like I'm like wired in that for both like my academics, both for fitness when I first started. I always needed that 1 hour of a lot of time to go work out. I needed
yeah.
that perfect meal with the perfect amount of protein, the perfect amount of carbs and vegetables, or else it's not a good meal, right?
Hmm.
So I used to have that mindset, but then now I kind of shifted it towards, all right, maybe this day's a little bit busy. I can only sneak in 30 minutes for a workout. That's fine. I'm willing to compromise some movements. I'm willing to dial up the intensity for the amount of time that I have. My nutrition wise, it's okay when I go out and eat, quote unquote junk food. It's not going to affect me too much in the long term. But however, the other 80% of my training, my nutrition, my recovery, that's dialed already because of the amount of habits that I've already built up. The 80% is there. Any of the other 20% where some pieces might be missing in the puzzle, that's okay. I kind of have come to the conclusion that that 20% where I kind of let loose a little bit, it just makes my fitness journey a lot more sustainable. And honestly, I've been seeing more results because of it.
Yeah, sustainability is really huge with training. A lot of times you'll see people, they're like fully committed, and then you don't see them for a long time, and then they are fully committed again. And yeah, that all or nothing approach in any aspect of your life is going to lead to burnout. And it's just really important to just continue to focus on prioritizing your health above all else. And like 7 days a week of 75, 80% is a lot better than just 2 days a week of being all in. And then it puts so much pressure on yourself if you don't have a good workout. If you have like an hour slot and you're like, it has to be perfect, it just puts a lot of pressure on yourself to perform.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be, it creates like more stress when this is supposed to be
Unnecessary
something,
stress. Yeah.
yeah, unnecessary stress. It's supposed to be something that helps alleviate stress. So, and every time that you do some kind of microdose and you feel after you're like, okay, I prioritized my health in some way today. And then you always feel better after you do it, and it feels doable every time.
Yeah. Totally agree.
All right, maturing in the gym is realizing exercise doesn't have to be inside of a physical gym.
Mm. Crazy. I literally before this podcast, I was creating clips for the Mauricio podcast.
Oh yeah.
So by the time this one's out, I think there's probably already a clip of Mauricio saying like basically getting outdoors and like training outside. So there's like perfect timing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's this condensation or this idea that you have to be in a weight room, you have to be lifting weights, but you could do stuff at home so easy. I make workout programs all the time of just body weight exercises. Also, we just spoke about microdosing exercise. So there's a lot of different ways you could do that. Go outside, play basketball, go for a walk, go for a jog, go for some sprints, go to the beach, do some like different sand drills, find a hill, do some plyometrics on a hill. See people working out in parks all the time. Some parks even have like different strength equipment that you could use. So you don't have to be tied down to a gym membership per se. There's all different kinds, and going hiking is another great one. So just find a way to get some kind of exercise in any form.
Yeah. And I mean that's literally how I started fitness. I'm sure I told the story before, but like just getting like a door pull-up bar. You can do some dips on the chair. You can elevate your feet on the chair, do some push-ups. There's so many variations. You can just search it up, ChatGPT it, Claude it. They can spit out a list of exercises that you can effectively do at your house. So yeah,
Yeah.
great tip there. All right, my last maturing in the gym is realizing that training can be fun and you should probably incorporate some play into your training. What I mean by that is it doesn't have to be mundane all the time. You don't always have to do 3 sets of 12. Yeah, you don't always have to do the same exercises day after day after day. You can do different variations. For example, for my squatting, I can do back squats, I can do front squats, I can do Zercher squats. Those are the different variations that I enjoy and depending how my body feels, right? Instead of just barbell benching all the time, I can do very similar movement patterns that stimulates the muscle close to the same amount by doing a pin press or doing a dumbbell press instead, doing a machine press sometimes. Just different variations just to incorporate more variety to keep your training fresh. One more thing too, for people who maybe they're a little bit scared of like starting plyometrics or they don't want to do plyometrics in their gym because they look weird and funny, that's okay. You'll eventually mature to the level where you can do plyometrics in the gym. But let's say that you're a complete beginner and you're a little bit scared to do that. Go play a sport, right? Go join a rec league. Do basketball like how you do, right? Think about a basketball game. Think about how many repetitive jumps that you have. Think about how many lateral cuts. Think about how many you get what I mean. Do a rec sport. Um, Great for community, great for training, incorporate some play.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, do whatever play looks like for you. Sometimes reconnecting with the old sport you used to play is really fulfilling for someone. And yeah, like if you're in the gym, yeah, you don't always have to do back squat every time, like you said. Like switch it up. Do the same exact movement pattern, but in a different way. You'll drive the same amount of stimulus. You're going to switch it up. It's going to make you want to keep coming to the gym. So that was a really good point.
Yeah, and I have like the programming that's like out there. Let's say you go to a coach and buy one of their programs. A lot of the principles are held in place. So like what you said, like one phase might be a back squat, the other phase might be a front squat. It's a very similar movement pattern. Yes, here and there, different muscle groups change a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still a squat, right? So find that variation that you enjoy, find that variation that keeps you consistent, and just roll on with it.
And you're going to discover something new that you might like.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. This is a short podcast, but hopefully we condensed a lot of information in this one. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's super dense.
Yeah, super dense, but also like it's kind of hitting at you point after point. So hope you guys enjoyed.
Mhm.
Next episode is episode 20. So hang tight for that one.
Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.